Right, I want to offer you a very, very high level guide to defining your objectives, your goals, your mission, what you want to accomplish in life. To get more of what we want, we must consciously uncouple from that which we don't want. So let me break this down. To consciously uncouple from something means to stop focusing on something and break away from it. To sever one's tie with something. Stagnancy, just kind of sameness, just going nowhereness. Boredom, inefficiency, credibility loss. Perhaps there's some people in your life that aren't taking you as seriously as you would like them to. Perhaps you've been left by your husband or your wife. Perhaps you've lost the admiration of your kids. Perhaps you've just been sacked. Perhaps you've been laid off. All right? And some of the reasons for this may be because you weren't offering another person or an organisation the degree of value that they needed or wanted or would have preferred. A million and one reasons. I'm not pointing any fingers here, and I'm certainly not here to undermine you in any way. I'm just here to state that, if we're focusing on what we don't want, then we're not going to be focusing on what we do want. All right, there are, I think, an ever-increasing number of mental health disorders in the world today. Right, it's a quirky group of academics that kind of pluck these things out of thin air. Honestly, I'm being straight with you. Do as much research on this as you need to. Every couple of years, they'll kind of bring out a whole new list of mental health disorders and terminologies. And I'm not here to teach you mental health here. I'm literally here to say that these are the factors that underpin poor and negative mental health. All right. Say, for example, a person is feeling depressed, or a person is feeling sad, or in low mood, or something like that. Right. Let's put two and two together here. Right. See if we can come up with four. Right. If I was on a day-to-day basis producing low-level outputs, I could see that I was being completely unproductive, completely ineffective, completely inefficient. I wasn't creating anything of any worth or value in my life. No one was appreciating my efforts. I'd be feeling pretty low. I wouldn't be feeling that particularly good within myself, right? I don't need to pin that on an illness. That's just kind of like a consequence of my outcomes, of what I'm doing with my life. Unfulfillment is the key indicator that we're not doing something quite right in life, all right? Monotony. If you find yourself in a career or a place of employment, or even if you are self-employed running a business, you're finding it monotonous, uninspiring. Gotta ask you, how congruent are you being to your priorities? Do you know what I mean by congruent? Right? Consider what you're passionate about in life. Consider what you enjoy. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about personal growth, applied psychology. So I teach personal growth and applied psychology for a living. All right, love it. All right, I'm not here reading off dry PowerPoint presentations. I actually understand this stuff. I've applied it. I've built it into my own life, and it works. It gets me some great results in life. And I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you the importance of getting focused on what we do want, not upon what we don't. All right, but if you find yourself in a place of unfulfillment, guess what? That walks hand in hand with low moods, monotony, stagnancy, boredom, inefficiency, credibility loss. I have honestly, over the years, encountered hundreds, maybe thousands of people. I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Are you really depressed? Or are you just bored? Because it can sometimes be quite difficult to distinguish between the two, right? I've never known a depressed person not to be completely bored. Or loneliness, for example. Lonely, right? Do you know loneliness? Do you have a relationship with loneliness? I had a relationship with loneliness a few years ago, about a decade ago, for a couple of years. Why? Because I was living my life in a completely self-consumed way. And many self-consumed people who focus only on themselves also develop a pretty good relationship with loneliness, right? And then monotony comes along. They're all a bunch of friends, these guys. They all hang out together. Honestly, low-level outputs, low-level results, unfulfillment, monotony, stagnancy, boredom, inefficiency, credibility loss. Then people that have all this kind of stuff, oh, I'm depressed. It's the one all-encompassing word that kind of justifies all this kind of stuff, and a willingness not to improve upon one's processes. Just saying. All right, so let us undermine all this stuff, because this is what we don't want, right? And we're not here to focus on doom and gloom and the negative. We're here to get hyper-focused, all right, and become more productive, are we not? Of course we are. So let us instead see if we can start to define a vision or an overarching objective. What's the goal? What's the vision? Personal growth. Personal growth, right? Let's just say, for example, that your career's not where you would like it to be. Let's just say that the quality of your relationships, they're not quite as intimate and meaningful as what you would like them to be, as what they perhaps could be. Well, guess what you can do? You can run around blaming everyone a narcissist, and many people do this today. It's quite a popular word that people use, especially disempowered people. Everyone's a narcissist, all right? Or you can grow and develop. Because when we commit to growing and developing, we can't see anyone as a narcissist. We can only just see people as being imperfect human beings. Personal growth is a fantastic goal to commit our lives to. This might express itself relationally, socially, might develop our communication skills, our leadership skills. We might have to become a bit more self-aware. Productivity, personal efficiency all comes into this. Hyper-efficiency. Ooh, hyper-efficiency. Kind of same sort of thing, isn't it? Hyper-efficiency comes about as we become hyper-focused. Hyper-efficiency. Do you know what the difference is between effectiveness and efficiency? Effectiveness is more kind of outputs based. Efficiency is more kind of time based. Financial return. Do your efforts generate you some form of financial return? Now, come on, I get it. We're not all in it for the money. I'm certainly not in it for the money. Believe it or not, I'm in it for the passion. I'm in it because I've actually almost died a couple of times over the last few years, and I've got no reason not to do this stuff. I love it. All right, why? I'm just doing my best. I'm having a ball. I love teaching personal growth. What I understand is that I understand quite a bit about productivity and personal efficiency. If I can share my ideas and my understanding in a really authentic and hopefully palatable way that some people understand, then some other people are going to get more productive, more efficient, and perhaps improve the quality of their relationships or their outputs or deliverables in the workplace, play a part in boosting their own national economies, because the world is crying out for some focused and disciplined people at this current state where we're at in the world. Achievement, connection, generosity, fulfilment, credibility, progress, integrity. How about inner peace? Right? How about inner peace? What part does inner peace, or what role does inner peace play in driving our efforts? Well, I don't know about you. Again, I can only relate to myself here. Right? When I was living in all of this stuff, producing low-level outputs with my life, going round in circles, bored, lonely, being completely inefficient, I did not have any inner peace. Right? If you've ever experienced anxiety, burning angst, I most certainly did back in my early 30s. My goodness, my life is going down the pan. I'm not going in a direction that I want to be going, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get in that direction. In my early 30s, broke, living in a dirty one-bedroom flat, single. All right, my prospects weren't looking great. So my options were focus on what I don't have and feel sorry for myself, go to the doctors and get some medication because that'll work, or I commit to this process of personal growth, self-improvement, development. I'm going to get my head in the books, I'm going to study, I'm going to apply what I'm learning, I'm going to grow, I'm going to develop, I'm going to upskill. Did I mention that mindset and attitude underpins all productivity? Vision gives us a direction for our efforts, but mindset and attitude underpins everything. All right? Can't get away from mindset, my friend. You cannot get away from your mindset. Wherever you go, it will be there. All right? Whoever you interact with, your mindset will show up. If you don't like, if you are uncontent with the quality of your relationships, What part has your attitude played in this? All right? Are you the victim? All right? Or are you the perpetrator? Going to be one of the two. I know you're the victim. Of course you are. All right? Or maybe the perp. Who knows? Who knows? Right. So listen, I share this video, I share this idea, and I'm starting to get in your face now because I really don't want to waste too much time encouraging you to want more for your life. This is where many people live out their days. Oh, I don't have what I want. I'm not getting what I want. I feel sad. Will someone help me? Will someone come along and fix me? Could someone, maybe this online course, just make my life work? Is there a book that I can read, perhaps, that'll make me more productive? And the answer is no, 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 no. The only person who can make you more productive is you. The second you commit to growing and developing yourself, improving as a person, figuring out exactly how it is that you need to upskill, develop yourself, become more relational, tweak your communication skills, evolve and grow in your mindset, and modify your attitude. All right, but it's going to be determined by focus. If you're focused on this, you're going to be focused on how you feel about what you don't have. And that ain't going to lead you anywhere good. Whereas if you focus on what you want, all right, will open your mind up to questions. How? How do you start getting more of these things today? What is the first peg of that tarpaulin that you need to peg down?